Regarding the current case, so a Florida judge ruled that two of the victims in the case were lying about the allegations.
Yep.
Where's the case currently at? What does that really mean, the Florida case? Can you give us an update on the case?
Yeah, so I have to be careful what I say, but basically there was American girls who started this whole debacle. We can go down the rabbit hole as to whether they were sponsored by a liberal NGO to attack us initially, or if their liberal NGO came along afterwards to fund their legal bills, which seems to me more suspicious than if they weren't already set up and sent.
Yeah.
So it's actually very scary. We can look at it and remove it from my case. It's very scary. If you're a high-profile man, if you're extremely famous and you talk against the system, if you talk for the system, then of course you can have sex with whoever you want. You can go to islands, you can do whatever you want. But if you talk against the system, at some point in the future, all they need to do is find one girl and sponsor her to go and be around you. You don't need to have sexual intercourse with her. You don't need to touch her. She just needs to be in your vicinity for a day or two and then make crazy accusations. And
Can they face any repercussions for false allegations?
it looks like they're going to in an American court. But that puts the Romanian case in a very difficult situation, right? Because American court's saying that it was all started by liars. But the Romanian police knew it was started by liars. I don't think the Romanian prosecutors or the police were stupid enough to actually believe a word they said, at all. They knew it was started by liars, and for some reason they either saw an opportunity for personal gain or they were instructed by Western governments. We don't care, it's a lie. Do your absolute best to wreck these guys. And I have to be careful what I say because I'm in a Romanian judicial process. But even when it all initially started and I first sat down with the Romanian police, they were laughing at the whole idea of the story. Everyone was laughing. It was all a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got arrested, they were like, yeah, well, it's life. Yeah, it's not real, but, whatever. Like, it was a very strange scenario. So I don't know if they're like, we can get promotions out of this. And some of them did get promotions. Perhaps they got the promotion because they were instructed to by a Western government. There's a lot of things going on. However, if anyone thinks this is about human trafficking, they're not very smart. In the power dynamics of Earth, when there's an opportunity, you take it. That's just how it works. And I guess they thought this guy has a lot of influence. He's talking against our agendas. We're trying very hard to convince men to chop their dicks off, and he's trying very hard to make sure they don't. And we have an opportunity here we can use to wreck him and damage his influence, they so believed. At least damage his life. And they did it. I guess they intended for me to be mentally broken when I left the jail, the solitary confinement cell, or they intended for me to go bankrupt because they tried to take all my money. They intended to do a lot of damage to me and my influence, and unfortunately for them, they have failed. But they're not done yet. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's never been a period in human history where you could be a king of anything and not be at war. So if you want to become monumentally famous, if you want to get larger and larger, if your podcast becomes the most famous podcast in the world, people are going to come to you and say, are you pro-trans, whatever? And if you decide to say no, you need to go to sleep that night knowing there's going to be consequences for that. That's how it works in the world. There's no such thing as you get to just get big and say whatever you want.